Hey guys, happy Wednesday! I can't believe it's already the middle of the week. It's going by so quickly. So let's talk about failure. This was something that we were talking about yesterday in our Fit family, and I want to talk about it with you as well. Who here doesn't start something because they're afraid they're just going to fail? So I'm going to wait to do this until I can do it perfectly. This was me to a T. This was just how I did everything in life, and it kept me so small. And I want to talk about you and your ability to do all the things and reach all of your goals. Are you even aware that you have it? You all have the ability inside you to reach your goals. And if you're on this page, if you're reading any of my posts, if you're watching any of my videos, then that means there's a part of you that wants it too, and we just need to pull it out of you. So there's so many things that we can learn from each other, even from our children. And I shared about it last night when a mom was apologizing for failing in our Fit family. Failure gets such a bad rap, doesn't it? We fear failure. So what do? We procrastinate. We procrastinate starting things to the point that we actually run out the clock. I'm the biggest procrastinator in the point where I will run out the clock so that I'm forced to not be able to do it so I can use that as an excuse. And this is honestly how the majority of our society actually operates. And a lot of people look at me after being in this journey for 3.5 years thinking I have this natural ability, hey Lisa, that I have this natural ability to just, ease my anxiety and eat in the way that my body needs and know what workouts to do. And guess what? I don't. None of what you see is natural. Have you seen my roots? When I began this, I overcomplicated this life. I have to eat this. I can't eat this. And oh my gosh, I'm short over this. And I'm over on this. And I was just freaking out. My kids were being terrors and school was not going right. No one would listen. Work was insane. Kylie was the baby at the time and into everything. Portioning out grapes for snacks made my anxiety just skyrocket, and I was pulled in so many different directions, and I legit felt fragile. I literally felt like I was going to break. So how was I supposed to do this for life? I'm failing. I can't do this. I must stop because I can't do this as I should, because I had these really high expectations of what I should do, but I wasn't meeting them. So I might as well just quit. I can't breathe. Does this sound familiar? Is this something that you say as well? If you're catching the replay, drop #replay. But if you're catching this live, drop an emoji or your favorite icon and let me know that you're here. So now think about this for a moment. Can you imagine? Okay, so your newborn baby, or not your newborn baby, but your baby is now crawling. And they're like, wow, I really want to learn how to walk. So one day, they get up and they're like, I'm going to try to walk today. Today is the day. And they're like, one day I tripped and I fell, and, they fell on their face, and they're like, you know what? I tripped and I fell on my face, and I said, no way. I am never trying that again. Never. Y'all can just carry me everywhere. Yeah, that's good enough. No. You're not going to do that. They get back up, they fall. They get back up, they fall. They repeat the cycle and they fail forward. Every time your baby falls when they're learning how to walk, they're failing. But what do? We don't say, oh my gosh, don't ever do that again. I will carry you everywhere. No. We say, get back up, you can do this. Yep, if I can't do it perfectly, what is the point? That was my mentality too, and I didn't realize how stuck it was keeping me in life. So every day I got back up and asked, okay, what do I absolutely have to do today? What is going to be the things that I'm going to do no matter what? So, I have to eat. So I'm going to focus on how to make each meal count. So instead of working out for 1 to 2 hours, because I was already claiming that, hey, I'm too busy to do this, but yet I was working out 1 to 2 hours a day, thinking that was good enough. Hey, Jamie. So I switched it to following a 30-minute program. My husband's like, just give me 30 days and I'll never ask you again. So I worked out for a 30-minute program, and I'm thinking, this is not going to do anything. This is way too short. Guess what? It kicked my butt so bad. I had more pain from the DOMS from those first 3 days than I did in 10 years of working out 1 to 2 hours a day. It was incredible. You know, it was the one time I was wishing that we had those handicap bars on the bathroom by the toilet. You know what I'm talking about? So like older people who are struggling or people that just had surgery can like pull themselves back up. You know, I was seriously praying and wishing that we had those. I wanted to install like that. DOMS hurt so much. 2 days in a row. Hey, Rachel. So if you're feeling that pain, finally, when doing a regimented program that was only 30 minutes long, despite being a person who was working out 1 to 2 hours a day, guess what? Your body was not conditioned or as fit as you thought it was working out as long as you were. So that was a really, really humbling experience. You know, when it comes to fitness, 90% of those that I talk to think that they're doing better than they actually are. Like theirs is the one time they're giving themselves a little bit too much grace because they're overtraining, they're undereating, they're putting themselves at risk for injury. And, you know, they're getting sick a lot too because they're not taking care of themselves. They think they're taking care of themselves because they're working out. You know, just because you work out doesn't mean it's going to produce the results that you feel that it should, especially when you're under eating, but that's like a whole other thing. So control the controllable. And I failed a lot, especially the first week. There was a couple Arby's nights where Hubs was picking up cheese sticks and pops and was waiting from school for me. So do you quit because you didn't eat exactly as you should, saying, well, I screwed that one up and totally failed, so I'm just going to start again Monday? Like, no, you give yourself grace because this is real life. You're going to have a cheese stick and a cookie or a taco or two. You are going to make a better choice the next snack and the next meal. You make the next right choice. So if you tell yourself when you, in fact, if you actually tell yourself, well, if I have a treat, then I'm just going to throw the rest of the day into the crapper and just do whatever I want. I can tell you for a fact, your life will not change for you. Your goals will never be reached in a happy and joyous manner, which means you will never reach them because if you are not happy doing what you're doing, you're not going to keep doing it. What do you do when you get miserable and unhappy? You quit. You stop doing it. So you're not going to keep going. It's just not going to happen. If you're like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Get honest. Take an inward look. How long have you maintained doing something that you were just like, this sucks? Not very long. You know, failure is good. It means you are getting back up. The word failure has such a bad rap. You should fail every single day. If you're not failing, you're not growing. You're just staying complacent, not living the full life that God has in store for you. You know, God has all these great plans for you, but you're too busy. Too busy with what? Too busy correcting kids' schoolwork? Too busy scrolling social media? Like, come on. Let's be honest here. Like, if you don't have that support, let My Fit Family be that support for you. You know, you are so not alone. There is always support. It just might not be in the conventional way like family. In fact, a mom shared last night that when she started, her family was not happy with her. Why? Because she was taking care of her, and that forced them to take a look at their life, and they didn't like what they seen. Because we tend to be mirrors of, you know, what other people are around us. So if you're a toxic person, you're probably surrounding yourself with toxic people. But as soon as you start to change and be like, oh yeah, I don't want to be a toxic person anymore. I want to be a happy, joyous creature. Well, guess what? All those toxic people are like, I don't want to see that. No. You know, you start to shine a light on people's demons. So when we are forced to see that, what do? We fear it, so we attack it because we can't change. When you are changing, it is showing somebody else. If you do make it, if you do have success and you go where you want to be, you're showing somebody else that, oh, I could have success, but I choose to be toxic instead. So it's scary for people. Like, think about it. That is a really, really tough pill to swallow. Am I right? So guess what? I was that unsupportive turd of a spouse, constantly sabotaging my husband, turning on the waterworks, telling him, if you really loved me, you wouldn't spend our money on, you know, bettering yourself. If you really loved me, you wouldn't waste money on a coach and all this other stuff. You could figure it out yourself. Like, What the heck? Like, what kind of spouse says this? Like, he was spinning his wheels for 10 plus years too. Obviously, if he could have figured it out, he would have already been where he wanted to be. We are called to be honoring of our spouses. We are called to be submissive, but we're not called to be enablers. And sadly, women that I talk to are not recognizing that difference while their spouse's inner demons are running the show, and they're like, but I'm a stay-at-home mom, I can't do this stuff. And so their spouses are making them feel guilty for wanting to feel better about themselves and have somebody guide them, and not realizing that it's their spouse's inner demons holding them back, and they're enabling their spouse by not doing anything. So you are capable of more than you understand. It's easy to say, my family doesn't support me, my family doesn't believe in me, but guess what? God does. Do you want humans' approval or do you want God's approval? So you have unfulfilled dreams in your life because you've been scared to go after them, and you're going to die with unfulfilled dreams unless you focus on the fact that He loves you unconditionally. Crystal, hey, you must be catching me on your lunch break. So anything that my husband and I have ever started that has had the best impact on our family's life and has actually been from God, it has been a test of epic proportions, because it takes both of us a really long time to see God's vision for the other person. But, are you willing to step forward in that faith and fail over and over and over, because you can't live out your calling if you're staying complacent and avoiding failure. Like, failure has to happen if you want growth. But all right, y'all, I am off to finish schooling with the kiddos, and I just wanted to share that. So get out there, make it awesome, and move forward. Step out on faith. Stop letting fear rule your life. Are you enabling, or are you moving forward and trusting God? But all right, guys, get out there, make it awesome.